feel about you. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm just gonna move these because they're in the camera. They block that beautiful stained glass. Isn't that wonderful? One of our local artists built that for Unity on Cape Cod. And that was in the memory of David Long. Instead of flowers for his celebration, we took the money and built this beautiful stained glass. Isn't that nice? So the daily word that Bruce read really is true, that everything that you do in this life leaves an energetic impression that contains quantum energy, that contains the imprint of who you are as a unique expression of God on this world. So every little act of kindness, every bit of good that you do, every revelation of your mind that you have that has to do with love and gratitude stays here in this energetic realm. Everything else fades away, disappears, is forgotten, and therefore never was. So forget it. Stop arguing. Stop fighting against the flow of good. Stop creating opposition to your blessings. Stop holding off God in your life. Let that light and love flow through you and forget everything else. Be a clear and open channel for the love of God in you. And the one way I know to do that, the best way, is through gratitude. That's the best way to clear out the energetic blocks that I have to the love that's ever present and ever available to me. So today, of course, is our gratitude service. And it's also the day where we have our volunteer appreciation party afterwards. And we're going to continue to appreciate all the people that make Unity on Cape Cod possible. So if you want to share in your gratitude, please show up after the service over at Halcyon. We'd love to see you there. Meister Eckhart, famous German philosopher, theologian, incredible guy. He said, if the only prayer you ever said in your entire life was thank you, that will be enough. You know, Eckhart Tolle, that name comes from Meister Eckhart. Did you ever notice that? Yep. Did you know that? Well, now you do. If I never told you, I'm telling you now. Prayers actually are living expressions that come from your heart. They're not the words you say. They're not begging and pleading to some greater power. Although there is a greater power, you're part of that power. Prayers are living in the energy of love, of gratitude, of compassion, of commitment to one another, of cooperation with one another, of seeing yourself in the other. No matter how they've identified themselves or how you've identified yourself up until now, to see the Christ in one is to see the Christ in all. And more importantly, you get to see it and feel it in yourself. That's the greatest part. Is that you get to experience yourself as God created you, the light of the world. So in a world that has you counting pounds and calories and dollars and cents and adding up your mistakes and accumulating your grievances, I have a suggestion. Count your blessings instead. When I count my blessings, I count you twice. Some of you 3 times. Because you add so much to my life. My life wouldn't be possible the way it is without you. Think about that. Think about everything that you have in your life and how grateful you are for where you are right now. And think about all the people that make that possible. You wouldn't be who you are in this world, your unique expression of God, without all those people. Amen. You're feeling that particularly strongly now because you have a partner that you're married to. I also have an incredible partner in life. And when you find your partner, wow, you're like, my life does not exist separately from this person. Guess what? Your life does not exist separately from everyone. You're in relationship with everyone in the world. And when we are divided against each other, we're divided within ourselves. So if we can be grateful for what we have and who we are, we'll be grateful for all the people that make that possible. And then perhaps we can help others to see the same. Because if we are continually pointing out how people are wrong, we'll never come to a point of commonality. We'll never come to a point of shared humanity, and therefore you will not experience the shared divinity. It's very important that we see gratitude is going to be the door that opens up all this. Last week we learned that gratitude is the door to abundance. It keeps the mind focused on the good. And so if we keep our focus on the good, we get more of the same. And that's pretty simple, but we don't do it. We focus on all kinds of things. But it gives us a mantra. God is within me, that I am one with God. The power of God is in me now. That's a good mantra. That good and only good comes to me. What a great mantra. Good and only good comes to me, so good and only good can come through me. It's flowing not to me, but from me. That's an amazing shift in consciousness. That the good in the world is not something that I go out and get. It's not coming to me. It's flowing through me. Wow. It's like our prayer. The more love that I use and give and send out there, it returns to me multiplied. But it's coming through me first. And that's the greatest blessing, because until it comes through you, you don't know that it's yours. You don't know that you have it. You don't know. But when you become grateful for who you are, what you possess right here and now within yourself, and perhaps what you have to use as a vehicle for love in your life, then you'll get more of that. Everything that I have is just a vehicle for me to learn more about love, learn more about who I am as a loving expression of God on earth. And everything, my relationships and everything that I have and everything that comes to me, everything that I expect to receive in this life is dedicated to that purpose only. It makes things really simple. That my life is a prayer. My life is just a prayer that is being prayed by God itself. My life is given to the greater good. No matter what comes to me, it's given to the greater good. So when you begin to be grateful and you begin to be giving of your abundance, that's when the door opens. And I can assure you, it will open to a world that you didn't know existed. Because you've spent so many years struggling and striving and working so hard to get to where you think you are, that you've forgotten it's all a blessing from God. It's all a blessing that includes all the people that helped you get there. And you can't forget them. You have to remember each person and cherish what they have given you. Because as we learned in the daily word, that's forever. That lives in your heart and never ever goes away. So Eckhart Tolle would say the same thing that I said last week. Acknowledging the good that you have already in your life is the foundation for all abundance. I said it's the key that unlocks the door to abundance. But you can also look at it as a foundation. It's a building block. It's a solid place to start. Is gratitude. It builds a foundation for your life. It's the foundation for all abundance, not just financial abundance, but relationships that work 100% of the time. Whoa, if you don't think that your relationship is working 100%, it doesn't have to look great. It doesn't mean you don't ever have differences of opinion. But you allow that to be a blessing of learning for you. I learn when I run into a growth edge that there's something to be healed in me. When I find myself in a place of a difference of opinion that's so strong that I separate from you, then I have some learning to do. I have some healing to do. And of course, I can look out there and see all the people out there that need healing. But what's that going to do for me? Let's make it really simple and basic, guys. What's that going to do for me if I point out all the ways you need to be healed? That was good, huh? George liked that one. So I was told, one time, don't be so spiritual that you're not of any earthly good. Another good one is some people have a problem for every solution. So I don't want to be that person who's separating myself from you so much that I can't see you're part of me anymore. That we're going to have differences of opinion, and that's great. I cherish, value, and celebrate our differences. I cherish, value, and celebrate our diversity. Because I need you. Just like these flowers, even though they're silk flowers, they're all different colors and shapes and sizes and varieties. They need each other to make the bouquet. We need each other to make the bouquet of the human family. That's what makes it rich and colorful and beautiful. And it's not what it is if we're all separate. If I took all these flowers and threw them out and they were all separate on the floor, you'd walk in and go, what happened? Who made a mess of this place? And I can imagine that's what the world looks like sometimes. You walk in and you go, who made a mess of this? How did we all get separate and off in we're not together anymore? I can't see the bouquet of life. I can't feel the richness of life. This is what's happening in our world. There's an epidemic of depression. Why? Because we're not seeing the bouquet any longer. But what's going to turn that around, my friends, is gratitude. In my spiritual journey, there's been many times in life where things didn't seem to be going so well, or at least not the way I expected. However, when I asked Spirit, what is the blessing for me in this situation? Then an answer would appear. I have to look for the greater good, the bigger picture, and the blessing in this. There's always a blessing here. Let me see it. Spirit, reveal to me what is the greater blessing in this situation. And it always looks different at that point. Always. Remember what Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's really true. The situations change. What I've learned to do is to find good in every situation, to train my mind to see the good in every situation, and to give thanks for the bigger picture. Then once you see it, you'll feel gratitude. Oftentimes you say, I can't feel grateful in this particular circumstance because it involves loss or pain or some kind of dramatic change in your life. But guess what? That's where you're growing. That's where you're learning. That's where you're evolving spiritually. And when you get to see, like, oh, that's why it had to happen this way. And actually, there have been times where I would not have chosen what had happened. So I was needing other people, to come into my life and disrupt it. For instance, when my mom passed away, November 2019. She was 89 years old. She lived a long and happy and very wonderful life. But I wanted to keep her around till 100 or more. And I would have lived in her house and kept her going as long as I could. But that wasn't in the cards. She kept telling us, I'm done. I want to get out of here. We went to the doctor's office. This is a funny story. The doctor says, well, you're in great health. I haven't seen you so healthy in years. She goes, oh my God, no. I'm 88 years old. Are you kidding me? That's what she said to him. It's a friend of ours, Dr. Shatari, a beautiful Muslim man who comes sometimes to our interfaith services. He was her doctor. What do you call it? Pulmonologist or something? The guys who work on your lungs? Yeah, he says, boy, you're doing great. And she was like, no, I don't want to be doing great. I want to get out of here. I wouldn't listen to that. I mean, it was right in front of me. I didn't want to lose that form that I called my mom. So this is something that it took me a while to see the bigger picture. But when I asked Spirit about it, I was able to see and feel and experience so much gratitude for what my life is like having a relationship with that person. What a mom, what an incredible person. So I was so grateful. And I still am each and every moment of every day. I think of a gift that she gave me in my heart and a way to live that was kind and compassionate and loving and always looking at the good, always trying to find the good. And I think she made it a lot easier for me to do that, to have a really grateful life. So this kind of communication that you have with Spirit, it's more expansive. It's absolutely you can't even describe it. It's indescribable. And it's unbelievable. And it's not understandable to the human mind how joyful it can be to feel someone's spirit when their body is no longer there. But I can tell you that this is my experience with my mom. So the grieving process was very fast. And I went straight to gratitude so quickly. And straight to gratitude for all the circumstances that occurred that led up to that moment where we had to say goodbye to our earthly body. There's a lot of moments. Somebody told me that getting cancer was the biggest blessing in their life because they stopped being the old person and they had to become someone new. And when they did that, the cancer disappeared. Why? Because they weren't the person with cancer anymore. They were somebody else, somebody new, something that did not need that going on in their body. Isn't that amazing? They went from someone who was creating cancer in their body to somebody that just didn't need it, didn't want it, had nothing to do with it, didn't understand it, had no part in my life. And so it disappeared. I love what the doctors say, well, it's just not showing up on our scans. So I'm healed? No, it's just not showing up on my scan. What the heck? I love it. So this is when gratitude kicks in. When you're grateful, you're cultivating a habit of being grateful for all the good things, and you continuously receive more of that good. You continuously receive all that's contributed to your advancement spiritually. You include everyone in your gratitude at that point. This is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Cultivate a habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Isn't that wonderful? Now I can be grateful for absolutely everything. That's wonderful. Gratitude is a memory stored in the heart, not in the mind. I'm feeling grateful, right? That's what we say. We don't say, I'm thinking grateful, do we? Boy, I'm thinking grateful today. I'm feeling grateful. Lionel Hampton, great jazz musician, right? What'd you say?
Playing the vibes.
The vibes. He played the vibe. Lionel Hampton was a genius. And guess what? He said something pretty good here. It's a memory stored in the heart. I'm feeling grateful. So we're looking at two things today. We're cultivating gratitude that we have as an everyday practice, but we're also creating a future of abundant blessings as well. Eileen Cady, excellent recovery person. Excellent. She was actually one of the founders of Findhorn. Excellent author, wonderful person. Some of you probably know of her. She said this: expect your every need to be met. Expect the answer to every problem. Expect abundance on every level. Expect to grow spiritually. You are not living by human laws. So expect a miracle. You don't have to live by human laws. Gratitude will unlock the door to these miracles that are yours. Expect those miracles. And see them take place. Don't just expect them, know they're happening for someone else. See them taking place in your life. Hold ever before you the thought of prosperity and abundance, and know that doing so sets in motion forces that will bring it into being. That's Eileen Cady. So remember, my friends, the good that you have today was just a prayer not so long ago. It was just a dream. It was just a vision. It was just a thought. It was just perhaps an intention. But now it's yours. You have it. It's yours now. Why? Because you let it be. You were grateful for it. It was just a prayer, just a moment ago, but now you're living it. So remember, what you're praying for or what's flowing through you today will be yours tomorrow. So be grateful for what you have. Don't stop your dreams or your visions or thinking those thoughts or praying your prayers or putting out those intentions. Don't stop, because that was what you're living today was your prayer yesterday. And in the words of our Master, all things whatsoever you shall ask for in prayer, believing that they are already yours, you will have. You will receive. I ask only that my life be a prayer of gratitude, a prayer that God is praying. Let your life be a prayer, my friends. Continue to be a blessing. We love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.